I think we have started with the second lesson, that is force and laws of motion. And in force of laws of motion, I will just revise what I have taught you all till now. I think first I told you all what is force. Now, force is a vector quantity which can bring an object at rest to motion. It can bring an object in motion to rest. It can increase the speed of an object. It can decrease the speed of an object. It can change the direction of an object. It can change the shape of an object. So these are the properties of force. And force is a physical quantity which is a vector. Vector means it has both magnitude and direction. Here magnitude and direction, what I mean is, it has some value, that is say the units of force in SI system are newtons. We will see what is the meaning of 1 newton. Okay, like 2 newtons, 3 newtons, 4 newtons and all. And along with that it will have some direction. Whether it is moving towards east, west, east, northeast, okay, southeast, or northwest, southwest and so on. Okay, all these directions also force will have. So those quantities which have magnitude as well as direction are called as vector quantities. Then we saw balanced and unbalanced forces. Now balanced forces are those forces which cancel each other and do not bring about any change in the state of an object. The examples we saw for balanced forces was, first thing is a book kept on a table. Many forces are acting on it, like gravitational force, force of the air column above it, but still nothing happens to it, it remains at rest, no change. And second case, sometimes in a game of tug of war, both the teams will be pulling the rope in opposite directions, but sometimes it neither moves towards left nor right. This is because the forces applied by both the teams are equal and they cancel each other. So if they cancel each other and if they do not bring about any change, then such forces are called as balanced forces. And next we saw unbalanced forces. Unbalanced forces are those forces which do not cancel each other and they bring about some change in the state of an object. Example is, when you push your friend moves forward. This is first thing. And second thing, when you kick a ball on the ground, it moves further. So these are all examples of unbalanced forces. So we saw force, balanced forces, unbalanced forces. I think after that we saw what is the first law of motion. First law of motion states that every object continues to be in the state of rest or of uniform motion, okay, unless it is acted upon by an unbalanced force. Now examples for or explanation for first law of motion is, a book kept on a table remains at rest until someone or some unbalanced force acts on it. A ball kept on the ground remains at rest until some unbalanced force acts on it. Either it may be a wind or it can be force by a kick by a player. Force of a kick by a player. Okay. So here first law of motion states that every object continues to be in the state of rest or of uniform motion until it is compelled by an unbalanced force. So every object is actually unable to change its state of rest or of motion. And what is this inability? The inability of an object to change its state of rest or of uniform motion is called as inertia. What is inertia? Inertia is inability of an object to change its state of rest or of uniform motion. Okay, that is inertia. The body is not unable to change its state of rest or of motion. That is inertia. Now, example is when we are sitting in a bus and the bus suddenly starts moving forward. What happens is we lean backward, we are pushed backwards. This is because we are at rest, but the bus starts in motion, but still we have a tendency to remain at rest. That is the reason we are pushed behind when the bus suddenly accelerates forward. And the second example for inertia we saw was when a moving vehicle applies brakes suddenly, the passengers move forward. This is also because of inertia. Because along with the vehicle we are in motion, but the brakes are applied to the what you can say vehicle, but we are still in motion. So we lean forward. We take some time for us to come to rest. And you might have seen when brakes are suddenly applied, only the upper portion of the body moves forward. The lower portion does not move so much forward because the lower portion of our body is in contact with the vehicle. So it changes its state faster than the upper part. That is the reason why the upper portion of the body moves forward. This was the second example we saw. And I think the third example we saw in the in-text question. And that third example was like when you vigorously shake the branches of a tree. Okay, some leaves get detached. That is also because of inertia. Because you are shaking the branch, the leaves were at rest. It takes for some time for the leaves to change their state from rest to motion. As a result, what happens is the leaves, since they are at rest, they get detached from the tree, from the branch, and they fall down. Okay. And next, what we saw was inertia was a measure of mass. Mass is a measure of inertia. More the mass, more the inertia. Less the mass, less the inertia. Like for example, we saw in text example, which will have more inertia, whether a tennis ball or stone of the same weight, a stone of the same size. Stone will have more inertia because stone has more mass. A bicycle has more inertia or a train? Train has more inertia because train has more mass. Okay, and not only that, a train, since it has more inertia, train, its velocity or speed cannot be instantly changed. It has to be changed slowly. That is why a train has to be brought to rest gradually. You cannot bring it to rest all of a sudden. If you do that, the train will get derailed. It will fall off. Okay. So this is because the train has a very huge mass. That is the reason. It has greater inertia and it has to be brought to rest very, very slowly. Okay, and these few examples we saw of inertia. And then I think we saw momentum. And what is momentum? Momentum is the quantity of motion possessed by a body. How much motion an object is possessing. This is given by momentum. And momentum is measured by the product of mass and velocity of an object. If the mass and velocity are more, then the momentum will be more. Momentum is the thing which brings about an impact in the object. Okay, and momentum is denoted by the letter P, and momentum is measured by the product of mass and velocity. So P should be equal to mass into velocity. Like for example, if a bicycle is moving with the speed of say 20 kilometers per hour, if it strikes a person, nothing happens other than some minor injuries. But if the same with the same velocity of 20 kilometers per hour, if a lorry strikes a person will be killed. Here the impact is more because the lorry has more mass, as a result more momentum. The greater the momentum, the greater the result or the greater the impact. Next we saw the second law of motion. And what does the statement of second law of motion state? The second law of motion states that the rate of change of momentum of an object is proportional to the applied unbalanced force and in the direction of force. And we saw the mathematical formulation of the second law of motion, that is what we got: force is equal to mass into acceleration, F is equal to m into a. This was just one revision session for you all. Okay, just listen to this carefully once, twice, thrice, and later on, okay, we will continue the further part of the lesson in the next class. Okay, bye till then.